Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Pam, and I show everyday moms the simple eco upgrades so they can swap into their regular routines for a healthier family and a healthier planet. Today, we're talking about something that's sitting on your kitchen counter right now, your cutting board. And I have a confession to make before we even get started. I still have a plastic cutting board in my kitchen. I know, I've been meaning to replace it forever. And after doing the research for this episode, I am replacing it this week for sure. And by the end of this episode, you might want to do the same thing. Because here's the thing, most of us have never thought twice about our cutting board. It's just there. Like we grab it, we chop on it, we wash it, we put it away. But it turns out the material your cutting board is made from matters a lot more than any of us realized. Today, I'm going to walk you through what the research actually says, give you a full breakdown of every cutting board option out there, and tell you exactly what to look for when you go to replace yours. No overwhelm, just the information you need to make a better choice. So, let me start with plastic because that's what most of us have, and it's where the problem is. You've probably been hearing a lot about microplastics lately, which are tiny plastic particles that shed from plastic products we use every day and can end up in our bodies. It's a growing area of research, and while we don't know everything yet, what we do know is worth paying attention to. And your cutting board, it's actually one of the biggest sources of microplastic exposure in your kitchen. Here's why. Every single time a knife blade meets a plastic surface, it shaves off tiny plastic particles. Not particles you can see, particles that go directly into whatever you're chopping. Your vegetables, your fruit, your kids' food. The numbers from recent research are pretty eye-opening. One study found that a plastic cutting board can release somewhere between 1,000 and 50,000 microplastic particles per meal, depending on the age of the board and what you're cutting. Now, I want to be careful here because this is exactly the kind of statistic that can send you into a spiral. So let me give you some context. The research on what microplastics actually do to our health is still evolving. We know they've been found in human blood, lungs, and other tissues. We know they accumulate over time, but the full picture of long-term health effects is still being studied. And I'm not sharing these numbers to alarm you. I'm sharing them because they're the reason I'm replacing my cutting board this week, and I think you should know what I know. And one more important note, if your plastic cutting board has like deep grooves and scratches, it's releasing significantly more particles than a new one. So if you have an old scratched up plastic board, that's your sign to replace it sooner rather than later. Okay, so what do you replace it with? I looked at every option out there, and here's my full breakdown ranked from best to worst. Okay, number one is hardwood. It's my top recommendation. Wood cutting boards have been around forever, and it turns out there are really good reasons for that. Wood doesn't shed microplastics. It's naturally antimicrobial. There's actually something in the structure of wood that traps and kills bacteria over time. And it's gentle on your knives, which means your knives stay sharper longer. But not all wood cutting boards are created equal. Here's why I rank them within the wood category. So walnut is the gold standard. It's the softest hardwood, which means it's the most gentle on your knife blades. It has a beautiful dark grain and it's naturally antimicrobial. The downside, it's the most expensive option, but if you're going to invest in one cutting board for life, walnut is the one. Maple is my everyday practical pick. It's very durable, widely available, and sits kind of in the mid price range. Most restaurant kitchens use maple boards because they hold up so well to heavy daily use. If you want something that will last for years without breaking the bank, maple is a great choice. Acacia is your best bet for affordability and accessibility. This is what you're most likely to find at like Home Goods or TJ Maxx or Target. It's a beautiful wood with a warm honey tone and it's genuinely durable. It's not quite as knife friendly as walnut or maple, but it's significantly better than plastic and at a price point that's easy to say yes to. My personal recommendation is to start with acacia from like Home Goods. You can find a great board for $20 to $30 and it'll last you for years if you take care of it properly. So when you're standing in the aisles, what should you look for? So look for a single slab, meaning it's one piece of wood, not multiple pieces glued together. You want to look for a food safe finish like mineral oil or beeswax. Avoid anything with varnish or lacquer, and a thickness of at least 1 inch. Thinner boards are more likely to warp and crack faster. You don't want any adhesive or glue, and check the label or the product description. Okay, number 2 choice after wood is bamboo. It's a good option with one important caveat. So bamboo is technically a grass, not a wood, but it behaves similarly and it doesn't shed microplastics. It's naturally antimicrobial and it's one of the most sustainable materials you can buy. Bamboo grows incredibly fast, which makes it a really eco-friendly choice. The downside is that bamboo is harder than most wood, which means it's tougher on your knife blades. So if you have nice knives and you want to protect them, wood is probably a better choice. And the important caveat, bamboo boards are typically made from strips of bamboo pressed together with adhesive. And some of those adhesives contain formaldehyde, which is not something you want on a food prep surface. So if you go the bamboo route, look specifically for solid bamboo with food safe adhesives and then check the label carefully. Number 3 choice is pulp and composite boards, which is an interesting newer option. So these are boards made from agricultural waste, things like paper pulp, wheat straw, or rice husks. They're genuinely innovative and really eco-friendly. They're essentially turning farm waste into kitchen tools. They don't shed microplastics and they're sustainable in a really meaningful way. The downside is they're harder to find in mainstream stores and there's less long-term data on how they hold up over time. So if you come across one and you want to try it, go for it. But I wouldn't go out of your way to find one when wood is so accessible. Okay, my number 4 ranking is stainless steel, and I would honestly skip this. It is easy to clean and it doesn't shed microplastics, but it dulls your knives really quickly and it has a pretty high production footprint. Again, it's not worth it when wood is a better option in almost every way. And then last on the list, obviously, is plastic, which is a hard avoid. You know the issues now, and if you have a plastic cutting board, especially an old scratched one, it's worth replacing. And the good news is wood boards at Home Goods or Target are honestly not much more expensive than plastic ones. So this upgrade is very doable. So if you do go for a wood board, once you have it, you want to take care of it, especially if you go with a more expensive one, you want to take care of it so it lasts. So here's how to take care of it. So hand wash it only, never put it in the dishwasher. The heat will warp and crack it over time. So dry it immediately and stand it upright. Don't lay it flat when it dries. You want to oil it regularly with a food safe mineral oil. Once a month is probably a good habit. This keeps the wood from drying out and cracking and maintains that natural antimicrobial surface. If you get deep grooves in a wood board, you can actually sand a wood board down and re-oil it, something you can never do with plastic. So a well-cared wood board can last decades. So here's my honest take and what I'm probably going to do. I've had a plastic cutting board in my kitchen for years and nothing terrible has happened. I'm not sharing this to make you feel bad about what you have right now, but now I know what I know. And the swap is genuinely easy. One trip to Home Goods, $20 to $30 for a beautiful acacia board, and that's it. Done. I'm actually going to film myself making the swap this week for Instagram. So if you want to see what I actually end up with, come check it out at pam.p.mercer on Instagram. And here's something I really appreciate about this swap. A wood cutting board is actually more beautiful than a plastic one. Your kitchen will look better and you'll be reducing your microplastic exposure. So here's your one action from today's episode. Take a look at your cutting board right now. If it's plastic and has scratches and grooves, there's your sign. And then next time you're at Home Goods or TJ Maxx, pick up an acacia wood board. I'll also link some good options that I found on Amazon down in the show notes. So that's it. One swap and you're done. Switching to a wood cutting board is one of the simple green kitchen upgrades I talk about in my real life mom's guide to green kitchen habits. The link is down in the show notes and it's just 20 simple habits that you can do. None of them are extreme. And if you're not already subscribed, please do so. I would love to have you back next week. New episodes drop every Monday. Next week, we're going to be talking about other microplastics in your kitchen and what swaps you can make. So until then, take care and I will talk to you soon.